Morning everyone, it is Nikki and welcome back to this channel. It is October 15th and it's, typically on Wednesdays that I film these videos. So today I wanted to give y'all a quick update on, I guess, what I'm reading, what I've read, very quickly how I'm journaling these days, or this week rather, since I last gave an update last week. Some small things I picked up at Daiso, and yeah, I think that's it for today's filmed portion, but I may sandwich it between some other videos as well. In any case, I just finished this week and started and finished A Horse at Night on Writing by Amina Kane. This is a book I would only recommend for book lovers. I don't think if you love books that you will find this book interesting at all, especially if you haven't read at least one or two of maybe the novels she mentions. One thing about this book is you read this and all of a sudden your TBR grows that much longer. Amina Kane does reference, for example, Elena Ferrante a lot, and it's been years since I read the Neapolitan novels. So I'm thinking of really picking that back up again. I will, and it's been on my list, Days of Abandonment, to pick that up as well. So you can see that here. So I do think I want to get that and, add that to my TBR for the rest of, at least for the rest of 2025. So I'm hoping to pick that up soon. And yeah, I'm kind of deciding what to read next in between these sort of parts of me not knowing what to read next. I'm trying to, figure out what I'm craving currently. And I think one of the things, it's funny, Jane picked this up off my bookshelf and I started leafing through it and I was like, wow, I haven't read this maybe ever in its entirety, and probably I still won't, but picking it up and sort of reading it bit by bit, like the first part, the conversation between Socrates and Polemarchus about like the idea of justice. How do you define justice? Is it transactional? Is it, anyways, these are all the big questions, Plato's cave, all of that, all in Plato's Republic. And for me, I think being able to, and that's the one thing I think I mentioned about my book journals and why I love kind of binder journals, is I don't feel like I always need to be reading one thing at once, because then, I think book journaling in a bound book would get kind of chaotic. You'd be kind of skipping through these different sections. With reading multiple things at once, I basically have all of these pages, and I'll kind of show you here maybe. All of these pages where, I have A Horse at Night on Writing. This is part of this as well. And the reason I have this loose leaf is because I took the book out one day, one night, and I didn't have my Filofax with me, so I just took this. I think back then I was still using a plotter, but I just took this with me and I wrote notes here. And likewise this morning, I didn't have my larger Filofax around me, and so I just took this and I'm writing notes about the Republic on here. And what's great is I know that I can file this away at any point in the right section and yeah, so really this, I'll go into a little bit more about the M5 size a little later, but yeah, I've been loving sort of the combination of having a mini notebook that I can actually carry around and then a Filofax. Although one thing I will say about this Filofax is because I don't carry it around that much, it isn't sort of patinaing or aging the way I want it to. So I am gonna find a few trips where I'll just like throw it in my bag and like, you know, kind of get a little rough and tumble with it to, yeah, really see this age. Because yeah, there's something so nice about the inherent like chunkiness of this. Yeah. In any case, I think I was talking about the Elena Ferrante novels. I used to have the whole collection, but I did donate them to, or rather, I think I sold them to Bleak House Books, which is which is like my favorite, used to be my favorite bookstore here in Hong Kong, but unfortunately they moved away, and now they have a huge location in upstate New York. I would highly recommend checking them out. I will link all their socials and website down below. But as I was sort of pondering over my next read, I know a lot of you have reached out to me about reading Barbara Pym, and I'm so happy. And it just makes me want to read more Barbara Pym. And I do have a few books in my collection. These book covers, I have 2 more in the same style, another hardcover and one soft cover. But I mean, look at this. It is an old book, and I bought it from Bleak House Books. It is definitely one of my most treasured possessions. That's Barbara Pym. And like I mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this, but she has been acclaimed as the most underrated writer of the century. And yeah, her books are just so good. And I will be reading, I think I read half of this when I purchased it. So again, there is something, I don't know what, is there a name for this? But like book amnesia is like you read something and you just move on so quickly to the next book that you forget. I'm hoping to solve this with, book journaling, writing notes about books. But yeah, I'm excited to dive into this next. I will keep you updated on how this goes. And I love the idea of being able to carry this book around because it's just beautiful. And it's, it's bound, it's protected. Yeah. So yeah, that's my next book, An Academic Question by Barbara Pym. Alongside, I guess I'm also reading Plato's Republic very slowly and very I'm taking notes. Okay. And then I guess the next thing before I just graze and talk lightly about the M5 is this Daiso. I went to Daiso. I stopped by my local Daiso, which I didn't know we had one so close to me actually. And I picked this A6 binder, zipper file up. No rings or anything here, but what I find interesting is that it kind of fits these Bible sheets perfectly. So what I can imagine is once October rolls around or November rolls around and I have like all my October notes archived, I can probably buy multiples of these, label them, and these would be monthly logs, and I could have another one just for book notes. And yeah, I could file these away very neatly. They're super cheap. In Hong Kong dollars, it's $12, so it's like $1.50 each. So, and I probably can fit 3, maybe 4 months of logs in here. So I would just need 3 for the whole year. Or I could maybe even, if I could stuff it, I could probably fit 6 months of notes in here. So yeah, that is a cool new purchase that I got. Just wanted to let everyone know, visit your local Daiso. And then, sorry, this is a bit ripped, but I did also pick up some stickers, and I want to show you guys because they are very cute. One is this Halewa, which I was very surprised by. I sent this to my mother-in-law right away because she grew up on Oahu, and apparently she used to visit this supermarket in the North Shore all the time. So yeah, so cute. I also picked up these two for a friend's daughters. So this I am going to put aside here. I will not do anything with them because they are gifts. And then these, I just thought these retro stickers were super neat. This comes in a 4-pack, and so I already broke it down and or took one out, and I stuck them in these binder sticker refills. And yeah, I've just been loving having, you know, a few of my favorite stickers here. I plan to add more. I just haven't had the urgency or time to do that. But yeah, this is so far, I guess, a flip through of my week. So there you have it. I've been trying this thing where I do logs on the left-hand side. I like draw a straight line. Oops, all this way. I draw a straight line, kind of a third of the page down, and I do sort of 6, 12, 6, and try to log my day here. And yeah, so I've been carrying around this M5 with me instead of the Filofax, and I love it. It's a super neat way to know that I have like something to write with without, you know, kind of the bulk of my Filofax. And I did want to show everyone here again that, you know, why this is so great is, let's see, let me pull this one out. So this October 11th one, I will find the corresponding day here. So this is October 11th. So what's neat about these sheets of M5 is that, I think I've done this multiple times already, but I just want to show you guys in case, is that, you know, you can snip this off at the bottom here and very easily just slot these in. Now, I don't know whether or not I'm gonna kind of do this weekly or, you know, do it every month and just clear out my M5 so I'm not like carrying too much stuff. I do, you know, like to, when I'm carrying this around, like to have some stuff in here so that it feels like a lived-in journal. So I don't always want to be, you know, bringing stuff from here over to here and keeping this empty. I don't think that's necessarily the point. I do also want to make it a little bulkier because, you know, the difference in the chunk of the two is just extreme at this point. So yeah, this is sort of how I plan to kind of treat these logs and how to archive them, is that, you know, every day I'll have time to sit down at my desk, kind of reflect on things, usually the morning and in the evenings, where I come in and I set out my, you know, kind of wrap up my day and set up my day. For example, today, I actually haven't done my daily log pages yet. So what I'm gonna do is I'll do that in front of you guys. I'll do my little stamp here, and then I will draw my log line with a pen. I actually just swapped out my pen yesterday, my Coletto. I changed my black ink to a brown ink, so I will be temporarily writing with brown. Yeah, that's sort of how I write my lines. Nothing to it other than, and then I try to leave like the day a little larger. I actually usually move my 6 p.m. here because a chunk of my day usually happens here and here, actually, I would say. And so, yeah, so today, what am I doing? I'm eating Pearl for lunch. I swapped out new pump parts. I have to find a Yuha embody. Okay. Sometimes I don't really have a system of what I write down here on the right side, but typically and usually these days I've been writing some to-do notes just so I don't forget, and so, or things that happened yesterday. Okay. Oh, I have to call. All right, so that is really my day here. And yeah, I am going to show you what I typically do here. And I actually made a mistake, I think, this morning. Is typically when I have a blank note at the end of a day, like the 14th, I didn't use the backside. I typically put the next day here, but in a hurry, I guess I just started this new pad. So yeah, that is it for this portion of things. I do want to talk a little bit more about sort of how I'm using my M5 and what that looks like, but I think I want to give it like a week more and live with this a week more to really do a video that's dedicated to how I'm using the M5, because this is still pretty new to me. Or it's not new, but it's new in this phase and this chapter of my journaling life. So I do want to live with it a little bit before I say, yes, this is how you do it. And yeah, so again, I'm loving the fact that a lot of you are using or testing and experimenting with loose leaf binders now. I would love to kind of see your setups. I would love to see what refills you're making. And yeah, just tag me in anything. I love engaging with you guys. So I will put a pause on this section of the video. There may be more to come. I do have some new refills coming in, so I probably will combine this into the same video. So there will be, yeah, more to see. So talk to you soon.
A few moments later.
Hello everyone, it is now evening of the 15th, and yeah, I just wanted to wrap this video up with a few updates on the M5. I'm afraid I didn't finish some of my thought from earlier, and I realized that there is a critical section that I did not mention that I added to here since my last update. And I also just met my good friend Pearl for lunch today, and she recently went to Taiwan, and I'm just so lucky to have such great friends who think of me when they go stationery shopping. And she picked up a few Bible-sized inserts. I'll insert here a few screenshots from our conversation and photos that she took. It's really funny to have someone shop for you for stationery that isn't familiar with shopping for stationery, but she did so good. And yeah, I'm excited to share what that is with you, maybe open a few of those items. And yeah, so one thing that I did want to give everyone an update on since last time is, let's see here. So I'm keeping a media tracker here. I don't know if I showed this to everyone filled out, but here it is. I am also, in my little calendar here, I'm putting my must-dos of the month here. And here I'm just doing a little cross-out tracker for the month. So if a day's passed, I cross it out. I'm also using these little stickers to show when I'm filming videos and when I'm editing videos. So pink means that I'm filming, and silver means that I posted a video. So yeah, I think it's a fun way to keep track of things here. I've been using the monthlies really well. One thing I haven't been using well is these love leaf inserts. I don't know, there's something about weekly inserts that I just can't wrap my head around yet. The plotter ones did work quite well for me, and these love leaf ones just are not it. I think there are a few things I'd like to mention in case, you know, this is of interest and maybe you thought about getting these inserts too. So one thing first is that the week is split out pretty strangely, so that And it's just strange to me. It could work really well for someone else, but I like to keep like random inserts here. So this is the week of, let's see, the 6th to the 12th. And it's just weird that this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So just throughout the week, I kind of never really knew where the day was. Whereas if everything like Monday to Sunday was here, I would know, okay, so I'm looking here for the main part, and then here are the notes. But that's just not the way these refills are split. And then every day is sort of split into a kind of weird format where there's 2 slots here, and then there are, I guess, 5 to-dos, and then, you know, a bunch of empty space. I could just never really figure out where to put what. And so yeah, I tried it out for a week, and I try to fill a few things in, and as you can see, I've even dated it all the way until November. But I probably need to chalk this experiment up to doesn't really work well for me. So I guess I did do something a little crazy. What I did is, and I'll grab this for you, is I started off the year with this hobonichi. Sorry about the glare, but this is just what filming at night is. But I started off this year with this very beautiful hobonichi weeks, and if you missed my earlier flip throughs, what I did earlier in the year I actually really loved, and I wish I had kept up with this, but obviously in February, after, well, actually no, I did whole of December and then stopped in January. But the idea was I had so many stickers, kind of using this as a very visual way to, you know, mark every day, and I really loved it. For example, December 13th, there was a TN group meeting, a little sticker of a letter. Had this really, I guess I was sick, drowning in mucus, these little sweet potatoes in this little mucusy drop. Cough, cough, I guess I really was sick. Movie night, Jordan Valley Park, went to the park that day. Kim and Kiko's Christmas party. So yeah, I really actually loved doing this. And so as I am considering what hobonichi to purchase this year, I said I wasn't going to, but I am making a hobonichi group purchase, both as gifts. I have a few hobonichi gifts to give, and also I am with someone at work going to share the hobonichi shipment cost, and so I'm thinking of whether or not to pick up the brown weeks or one of the megas, because I've always been super interested in the mega size, or if I just should go with the A6, because yeah, I've very much loved my A6s over the years. But in any case, I don't know even why I'm considering it, but let's get past this and go to the fact that, you know, it started off really well. I use this as a kind of social Nikki Kaigi tracker. It got a little too much like organization wise for my chaotic brain, and so we ran a little experiment again in March. It went okay, and actually, you know, it went better than I thought, but again, I think at this period in time I just wasn't ready to carry this around with me. So let's fast forward to, I guess, now, and there's 3 months left of the year. I have a hobonichi weeks that was sitting in my drawer. So inspired a little by Chris's channel, Ella Nim's channel, and I'll link that below. I have seen them put a kind of rip a traveler's weekly, vertical weekly up and hole punch them. Likewise, I got inspired to do something similar for the hobonichi weeks. The only thing is, when I first did this, it was 10 p.m. at night. I didn't even have a light on in the living room. I was like, yes, I'm gonna run this crazy experiment, and I did, and I ended up hole punching the wrong side.
All right, pardon a little interruption there. My phone ran out of storage. I really need to think about where to put all my Peggy videos because that's really the thing taking up most space. Okay, sorry, I'm readjusting the camera a little bit. Okay, in any case, hole punched the wrong side. Of course I did. And yeah, the silver lining is that it did not, I guess, hole punch out the dates. So I'm still working on it as an experiment. And what it did is turn the weeks into a loose leaf binder, or a loose leaf refill, or loose leaf refills for this book. And so what I really should do is take away these love leaf inserts now, and that I shall do live here with you, and I'll archive these for now. And I guess we're running with this Hobonichi Weeks inside a personal size binder experiment. Oh no, what's happening? All right. Okay, so there we have it, a Hobonichi Weeks inside of Halifax. And I guess I've been getting questions, do I need to cut off the ends to make it fit? And you know what? I did not even consider doing that because I knew at that point I was probably gonna make a mistake again. So I thought, why not just keep it in? You know, if you look at the Halifax just from the top, it doesn't go over. And I think you guys know that I like a sort of chunky, anything goes sort of, you know, insert situation here. And I think it adds to the aesthetic of this Halifax. It is a little fatter than the narrow sheets that I had from my plotter, but we'll get into a few things later that will change this considerably. Anyways, this is really the experiment for the rest of the year. I didn't want to buy any new inserts. I wanted to use what I already still had. And this is an ongoing testament to the fact that anything can be refilled. It was not hard ripping out the Hobonichi Weeks. They're stitched in a way that makes it actually pretty easy. I think there were just 1 or 2 weeks that were a little hard to tear out, but all in all, super seamless, other than the fact that I hole punched it on the wrong side. I have been experimenting with how to remedy this, so someone, I forgot who, but shout out to you, who suggested that maybe I add some tape over it. So that's what I did for this week. I added some washi tape on this one side here and then did dot stickers on the other side. I don't know if that's something I want to be doing week over week. I don't mind. It does look a little funky, but you know what? It's an aesthetic in and of itself. I did go to Daiso the other day, I think I mentioned, to pick up some Halloween stickers. And here we go. This is Halloween week. Yeah, so that's just the weekly so far. As you know, I'm keeping a list of October wins. That's still going quite strong, and these are just the log pages that I showed you guys. And yeah, this is how I continued. Today I went to a coffee shop, picked up this, hole punched it, in it goes. I am keeping good pace with my private notes. I have like 1 to 2 sort of paragraph private notes every day, so I like, this gives me the space to just feel like I don't need to always censor myself, because I know there's a space where there are censored thoughts that I don't need to show everyone here. And then yeah, book notes are going well. I started listening to Mother Mary Comes to Me by Arundhati Roy today. It's been on my list for a while, but I also did see that Petya started this on her, I read that on her Substack, so yeah, great minds. But yeah, it's been on my to be read for a while, or to listen to, because memoirs are the one thing that I actually love listening to as audiobooks, and I'm always on the hunt for good memoirs. Like Stay True by Hua Xu was really good for that. And just any memoir, honestly. Like, I actually really enjoyed Matthew McConaughey's memoir, Green Lights. There's a list. I will maybe put some of my favorites on the screen here. I haven't listened to a lot this year, but I definitely will go back and search my read books from last year, because I think there were a ton. In any case, yep, this I think you've just seen. So yeah, I think I showed you guys this morning, oops, but I did continue some more book notes as I was listening to Mother Mary Comes to Me, and that's really just how it is. I just have this with me, and this is my sort of go-to when I'm out and about. So moving that aside, we are going to go to the meat and potatoes of why we're here, which is that my dear friend Pearl picked up some refills for me in Taiwan. And this is honestly so special because I don't think people in Hong Kong use personal binders at all, because there really are none in the stationery stores here, which is why I think my last video was a super important one for me to put out there, just in case you guys also live in Hong Kong. But I just need an easy way to make my own inserts, or have friends who will bring them home for me. So this is also from Asleet, which, you know, there are Asleets in Hong Kong, and it's one of my favorite stationery / bookstores. But again, we do not have these binder refills here in Hong Kong. So Asleet is from Taiwan, and so yeah, super sweet. I'll probably cut this out in and of itself into an insert and slot that into the October logs. So I put that aside for now. And I realize this is not the best thing to be opening under a harsh light like this, but again, we have I just wanted to, you know, kind of share this with y'all. So yeah, so two things. No plotters here in Hong Kong, so I'm gonna try to do this at an angle so there's no glare. So Pearl picked me up 2 of these plain notebooks, and if you're new here, this is the pad that I use at the back to, I slot in here so that I can very easily make daily notes and then put them into the daily logs up here. So I know I'm gonna run out probably soon, so basically just getting a restock of this. And then these are the special Raymay, and then there is this plotter weekly schedule. So this is something that you probably saw me use a few videos ago, but I was using the narrow size ones, and those I mentioned just weren't very comfortable to use, only because if you slot Bible size sheets underneath, you can kind of feel that ridge. So super happy I got the 2026 one that Pearl picked this up for me. In addition to that, she also picked up this, which is I think a brand or sub-brand maybe of Raymay Da Vinci as well. But I've seen this before, and sorry. But this is also a dated weekly, and I will very quickly show you guys what this is like. So this is a very interesting format because it kind of is like the Hobonichi Weeks, in that, you know how Hobonichi Weeks has the sort of divider line here. So a lot of people do draw these lines down to separate all these sections, and to each their own. But this Raymay one does that for you. And so, well, I've never used this before. I thought this was a pretty cool, and I've seen this before, but as you can see here, I think people have kind of split this into, I don't read Japanese, and it's sort of, I want to do that. So some people have split this into, let's see, 9 and 1. So I guess like what sort of the morning schedule is, afternoon schedule is. This is probably maybe events, or if you speak Japanese, let me know. what's going on here? And you know, just divide it into sections. I can see someone, for example, splitting up, yeah, here, business, private, so personal or work related. And I can see that actually functionally being quite good. I could have like a section for work, Peggy, this YouTube channel and the Instagram, more other personal things, and finances. So I could have every day of the week split up into very distinct sections. And yeah, I am interested in giving this a try. Again, I know it's a pretty, so you're gonna laugh at me because then I also have this, which is just a undated open weekly format. And at this point, you're probably like, oh my gosh, Nikki, is this really necessary to have all these different types of weeklies, dailies? And I don't know, but this really is all in the, I think, spirit of experimentation. So yeah, like I mentioned, there's an undated weekly, which I thought I would need if I didn't figure out this hobonichi week section, which who knows, you know, it's still 2.5 months left of the year. I might just break this out for 1 to 2 weeks to see how this works. This is just, I think, every day. I mean, we get Monday to Thursday here, and the other side is Friday to Sunday, which makes a bit more sense than the lovely refills, if you ask me. These are just plain paper ones from Ramble da Vinci, and let me just take maybe a sheet out. Oh, super thin. So I've noticed actually that this Energel pen, it is a fat, thick 1.0 millimeter pen, but this pen does ghost and bleed through. So I used it here, and you can see at the back, it does bleed through this plotter paper, which to sort of, you know, it is a very thick pen. So I'm just going to do a quick pen test. Energel. So, moment of truth. Yep. So very similar thinness of paper here, and yes, they both do bleed through a little bit, but it probably will withstand this, no problem. Yep. So yeah, just wanted to give that a little test run. And then lastly, I do have these monthlies for the year 2026. So hoping that I don't need to draw them for next year. So happy I have those. And then this, I thought, this is a really interesting format. There's 30 pages in here, so you can see there it's numbered. So 1 to 16, and then 17 to 31. What I think is really cool about a sheet like this is, I guess you would put two side by side, but it could essentially replace what I am doing here, which is my October wins. And I can just imagine that, you know, I could do a bunch of things, like things I'm grateful for, or 1 line a day, or yeah, anything that sort of requires a one thing every day of the month. I could use that with this insert and refill. So yeah, oh, I guess last thing I should mention, oh, where'd it go, is in addition to all of these, oh my God, did I actually? Okay, insert chaotic montage here, but she did also pick me up this to-do list, this Midori, super cute cat Midori to-do list, which I can't, like, for the life of me find, but I know it's somewhere, and so once I find it, I will link it here. And I'm sorry. What? Any case, I think it's about time we wrapped up because now this video is getting a lot longer than I expected it to be. But yes, thank you for being here. Thank you for unboxing this with me and doing a more extended look through of my file effects for this week. And I hope you are all having a great week and a great week ahead. And yeah, I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.